watching BBN Tonight on your official UK sports station, LEX 18. Presented by Central Bank, the official bank of UK athletics.
Welcome back to BBN Tonight. It's time to talk more Kentucky basketball now.
Yeah, let's check in with the voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach. Tom, welcome in.
Happy to see you guys as always.
Well, because it is Big Blue Nation, certainly had a much-needed breath of fresh air on Saturday afternoon, right? Cats left no doubt when they would beat Tennessee once they stepped on the court in Knoxville. What was that like for you to see that and not have that time where a team just makes that furious comeback on us?
Yeah, it's been nice to see them start to come together here for a few weeks, but then this was kind of the, I think, culmination of that improvement to get a decisive win on the road against a really good team, and hopefully they can now ride this wave for a while.
Yeah, and the rivalry between Kentucky and Tennessee spilled over onto Twitter this weekend as the Cats looked back on a Vols tweet bragging about a 2-game winning streak over UK going into the game. But after Saturday's win, Kentucky's basketball account responded with an epic tweet about its big lead in the series overall. So, Tom, did you see that, and what's your take on this little back and forth online?
Yeah, it's fun for rivalries. So you can have some fun with that kind of thing when, it's no fun to be on the wrong side of it. So when you get to be on the good side, as long as it doesn't get, mean or personal or something, which this wasn't. So it just seemed to be all in good fun.
Tom,
response, I think Tennessee did something kind of similar after winning in Lexington. And so it was, hitting the ball back across the net, if you will.
Yeah.
That happens when you have a true rivalry and teams are winning on both sides.
Exactly.
Right? So,
that's what it's all about.
Tom, we are hoping to see, we were hoping to see Kentucky get the chance to extend a winning streak to 4 games this week, but that was, of course, derailed when Texas A&M had to call off the game because of the Aggies' ongoing issues with COVID-19. I could see both this being a positive and a negative. Really, Kentucky just still has to go out and win the SEC tournament anyway, but is there something to be said for missing out on a chance to play one more game?
Yeah, I think there is a couple of things. Cal, after the game, I asked him about the possibility of adding more games. This was before we knew A&M was completely off the table. And he said I think he probably either knew or had an inkling that the game was going to be postponed. And so he thought it'd be good to have, a couple of days off after the team spent the whole week in the state of Tennessee last week. But, I wouldn't be surprised if they added another game this week. But he, in that interview, seemed to be more thinking along the lines of maybe playing 2 games on that last weekend, which is the makeup weekend that the league built into the schedule. But it's significant because Kentucky still is trying to make a run at getting that double bye in the SEC tournament. And there's, depending on how things play out with other results, a chance that could happen. So you want to keep, when you're playing well, and the 2 postponements are against teams in the bottom part of the standings. So you want to add more league victories to bolster your case to get to play and wait and play until Friday at the SEC tournament.
Just don't ask Tony Barbie about that. He's not going to tell you. He's not going to talk ahead any more than the next game.
Hey, I like that. I don't want to make any promises or have to predict the future either. So you know what? I don't blame him. And kind of on that note,
so we don't have to go by those guidelines.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know Kentucky certainly isn't the only program dealing with an unusual season, but even with an overall 8-13 record, UK has as many Quadrant 1 NCAA wins as Duke, UNC, and Louisville combined. Meanwhile, the Cats would be the number 7 seed in the SEC tournament if it started today. Tom, are we feeling more hopeful about the postseason?
Oh, I think no doubt about that. I think you're seeing a lot more optimism now, and I think it's justified in watching how the team is playing. And this really started during that 4-game losing streak where they lost to really good teams, but they were playing better, and they just had some issues with closing out games or a tough break on a call in the Arkansas game. But you could see it building, but eventually you had to get the payoff to get the wins to see some momentum start to build. So now they've won 3 straight. I think you sense that momentum is there, and that, again, kind of cycles back to that discussion of playing some of those games that were postponed. When you're in a groove, you want to keep playing and ride that wave as long as you can.
Tom, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good.
Stick around. We'll have more after this.
You're